Topic 3-2, Part 2, Solving Equations Using Cube Roots of Fractions. Let's solve the equation w cubed equals to 8 divided by 343. To solve a cubic equation, you must take the cube root of each side of the equation. So, I'm going to show you that I am going to take the cube root of each side. So I'm going to take the cube root of w cubed, which gives me w, equals 2, the cube root of the right-hand side. Now, you must take the cube root of 8, and you must take the cube root of 343. Now, you can either use your calculator, or you can look back at the chart that I just created for you in the previous podcast. The cube root of 8 is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 gives you 8. The cube root of 343 gives me 7, because 7 times 7 times 7 is 343. Therefore, when I take the cube root of 8, I get 2, divided by the cube root of 343, which gives me 7. So w equals 2 7/7. You must take the cube root of each side. And the cube root of w cubed is, think about it, what times itself 3 times gives you w cubed, and it would be w. So the cube root of w cubed is w. And then the cube root of 8 divided by 343 is 2/7. Let's look at another problem involving cube roots. Using cube roots to solve volume problems. An aquarium in the shape of a cube has a volume of 1,256 cubic inches. I've drawn a cube. A cube is made up of all squares, all the way around the ceiling and the floor. It's a box with all sides being squares. What is the exact length of one side of the aquarium? And if your answer is not a perfect cube, approximate your answer to the nearest tenth of an inch. So, what is the exact length of one side of the aquarium if the aquarium is a cube and it has a volume of 1,256 cubic inches? Well, the first thing that we're going to do is use the formula for the volume of a cube to find the length of one side. So, we know that volume equals to side cubed. Well, we know the volume in this problem is 1,256 equals to side cubed. We were given the volume of this aquarium, but we need the length of a side. So this is another cubic equation. So what I must do is take the cube root of each side. Taking the cube root, just as I did the previous example, let's take the cube root of each side. Well, the cube root of s cubed gives me s is equal to. Now, the cube root of 1,256, you'll need to punch that in on your calculator. And when you do, you get something like 10.7893 ... and I'm going to use a dot just to show that that value goes on and on and on. And we're supposed to round our answer to the nearest tenths. So, s is equal to 10 point, now, 7 is in the tenths place. Does that 7 need to stay a 7, or does that 7 need to become an 8? Well, we look to the digit to the right. If the digit to the right is 5 or greater, 7 becomes an 8. If the digit to the right is 4 or less, 7 stays a 7. So since we have 8, which is greater, 5 or greater, this 7 becomes 10.8. So the length of our side of our aquarium is 10.8 inches. So the answer to this problem is 10.8 inches after we round it to the nearest tenths.